Football is on at Yard House. Step up your game at Yard House with Monday Night Happy Hour from kickoff to the final play, featuring appetizers starting at $5. Enjoy game day favorites including boneless wings, pizzas, poke nachos, and more. Plus, catch all the action on over 20 flat-screen TVs and enjoy the largest selection of draft beer with over 100 beers on tap. This season, make Yard House your home for football. Visit yardhouse.com for details.
Tow trucked out this.
Welcome to the war room. We got Dez, Kim, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the hot block commander. How you wanna end a 1 or 2 hour show to get the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level? Bold with the topic, sorta like the rebels when it's game time. They like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th, so the war in Kuwait. It's the war room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys, diversified and educated.
Wait, all that. Ain't no lying bars. What up, good people out there in War Room Land? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. That's a lot of war rooms. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Devin McMillan. I'm at the round table with my bro, B. Austin. The NBA is back in effect, and the NFL players and owners finally sit down to have a conversation. Keep it locked right here for the next 2 hours, and we'll give you our thoughts on all of it. But make sure you join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 3 minutes when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. During the week, we got some instructions for you guys real quick. When we're not live on the air, we would love it if you be sure to check out the War Room Sports Podcast Network. Besides our own critically acclaimed podcast, The War Room, you can also listen to shows such as The Broad Street Line and The Broad Street Line Express with Roy and Chris, Tissue and the Tape Hip Hop Show with Phil Maddock and Savad, John Appetit with the Burtons, On the Couch with the Wilsons, Cover 2 with McMillan and Purdue, By the Hood with Jimmy the Blueprint and Corey Camp, Race Haven Radio with Dr. Scott Speed, and After Further Review with the Mayor. We got a few more things as well, so just check out the network. But be sure to visit warroomsports.com. Click that WRS Podcast Network tab, or go to our free mobile app. Click the network tab there. What's going on, bro? It's a week full of sports. We got one of those times where all 4 American majors are intersecting at the very same time.
In full swing.
It's in full swing. What's up with you?
Yo, man, just out here living the life, trying to have it like the habits have it. Shout out to my brother Jimmy, rest in peace.
You just scared the hell out of everybody out there, like, oh my God, Jimmy!
Nah, Jimmy alive. He fine. It's just his sports fandom. It's on life support, man. We trying to hold on to him, man. And want him to go because we don't want him to go. But you know how it is when your old auntie is like, yo, it's time to go. Don't plug me up to the ventilator.
Yeah.
Like, no.
But the latest, and, we always got to lead the show with, the latest dumb-ish that your president has said. So, as we all know, we had 4 soldiers die in Niger, and a little mission that the president put them on. President Trump, took him a while to call one of the guy's wife. Of course, it's the black guy. Calls his wife and leads his little spiel with, well, he knew what he signed up for, and then I guess gave his condolences and all that kind of stuff. She took it the wrong way, but how else can you take it? Like, what kind of, like, to me, even if, and there's no proof against this because, this is what we've seen from him and the people around him since he's been in office, before he's been in office, throughout the whole campaign. So it's difficult to give him the benefit of the doubt. But it's like, even if he wasn't trying to come off that way, this is just more proof that he's just not presidential. Like, he's not the kind of cat who's ever had to show compassion to anybody, so he didn't know how to give his condolences. He doesn't know how to give a presidential rest in peace to a grieving widow. You know what I'm saying? What he signed up for. Come on, Trump. He's
so far out of it. It's like, let's say you're on one side of an issue, and I'm on another side of an issue, and then he shows up and he's supposed to be on your side, but you like, yo, I don't want this dude on my side. I can't. Like, that's how it feels. I could go into the whole, special operations and a black man fighting in Africa and why it's 145% and all of that, but I'm not going there on the show. May he rest in peace, fallen warrior, and may his family have comfort, and may the families of those at the other end of the gun barrel of the gentlemen have peace and comfort as well. But I don't understand.
Tow trucked a little bit.
I don't understand Trump's level of humanity. Like his humanity is a little bit less out here. It's never mind empathy and compassion and things like those things aren't there in him. It's nuts. That's what it is. So
yeah, it's it's crazy to hear that kind of stuff. Is my audio fine? As far as you can hear?
Yeah, good.
Because I can barely you going in and out. So I'm not sure if my audio is doing the same thing.
No, you're good to
go. Anyway, all right, the dude. Yeah, I mean, it just goes back to what we said, man. He's just not presidential. Like, he just doesn't know how to give these type of addresses. I don't think it's in him to do that kind of stuff. So that makes it, a little bit harder for him to even come across the way that he's supposed to come across. But no, we're here to talk some sports, so we're going to get into these hot topics real quick. But hot topics brought to you by Sports the Book. You guys tired of reading the same old sports book with the same old sports lists, rankings, imaginary starting lineups, and all that objective BS that they try to pass off?
Mambo Jahambo.
Jahambo. Well, be sure to pick up your copy of Sports. Smart people only read the sports. Its mixture of sports and hip-hop culture will keep you on the edge of your seat. It'll keep you laughing. It'll keep you thinking, everything. Just go to sportsthebook.com and get your copy from our website at warroomsports.com. But wherever you decide to get it, just make sure you don't miss the movement. So, Colin Kaepernick, we've been talking about Colin and his plight for the past year or more. Colin Kaepernick finally decides to file grievance with the NFL for collusion. Now, when you heard this during the week, what were your thoughts on this? Because it kind of seems like this is the kind of move where he's basically throwing in the towel, like, okay, it doesn't look like I'm going to get signed. And he would know more than we would, if his phone's not ringing, then he has way more information on the situation than any of us. But, does this look like a throw in the towel type of move to you? And do you think he'll be successful with this grievance?
This is actually, for me, my mic sound nice? Check one?
Yeah, check one.
This is actually the saddest day for me in the entire Kaepernick saga, because I feel like when I look at his legal counsel and I look at the circus that's being created around this grievance,
right?
It's bad, man. This isn't where he wants to be in terms of the movement that he has helped to spark. This isn't what my perception of his intentions are in terms of protest and reaching the people. This isn't what he's about in terms his philanthropic work. This is just like you said, it's a throw in the towel, but it also feels like it's an attention grab as well to maintain some semblance of relevance in the battle against the NFL. But I don't like the tactic because I don't believe that he is in the know to be able to prove that there was actual collusion.
Exactly. And that's
how do you figure that out? Where's your evidence to present?
That's the biggest answer. The first thing I thought about when, he filed this grievance. You know it. I know it. He knows it.
Everyone knows it.
Everyone knows it except for everybody who's in denial or people that's just staunchly against him, and what he did. However, where lies the burden of proof? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you prove that there was collusion? Now, while I think this, and you seem to agree with me on the fact that it'll be difficult to prove collusion, I'm hearing different out of his camp, though. I'm hearing that, they may have some sort of smoking gun that can provide evidence that, owners colluded against them. And something else that goes in his favor, though, B, is the fact that he only has to prove that 2 or more teams conspired to keep him out of the league. So he doesn't have to prove that every single team in the NFL conspired against him. So, when I read that, it kind of gave me a little bit of hope, but I'm still worried, when you think about how
I remain in his corner. I appreciate, everything that he's done to date since the beginning of this. And, proving that 2 did it as opposed to 32, that seems like it'll be easier. But the act itself, the move on the chessboard, whether he has the smoking gun or not, doesn't feel as if it's in the spirit of the protest and the movement. It doesn't feel good to me. So
now,
that's
me,
kind of my.
I wonder, B, if the smoking gun is really there, or are they just going to go after like the obvious cats, like try to point at a Jerry Jones and the owner from Miami who told their team, if you kneel during the national anthem, then you won't play. So you figure if you're telling your team that's already on your team that you won't play, then there's no way you'd sign me because this is about, and I started this whole thing. So, I mean, that would be a weak case, and I would pray that his lawyers are better than that. But I'm figuring somebody desperate, that would be like a direction that they could try to go in. But I'm confident that they have something. I'm
a little less optimistic.
Maybe I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I'm a little less optimistic. Unless there's someone in those front offices that is willing to put their neck on the line to provide that smoking gun and that proof. And we've already seen how people operate within the context of the NFL machine. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, the NFL owners meetings have been going on this week, and a contingent of players and representatives from the Players Association sat this week and met with the team owners about social issues. Everybody came out of it saying it was a positive conversation. I will note that Jerry Jones or no representative from the Dallas Cowboys showed up to this meeting. If you do something like that, I'm going to put you out there. So, I think I'm picking on them because they're the Cowboys. He's the most visible owner in the league, and he decided after an array of comments leading up to this week, he decided that he nor any other representative from the Dallas Cowboys would be in attendance at a meeting where you're trying to, get both parties talking to come to an understanding together. Now, Roger Goodell came out after these meetings and said some good things in favor of the players, basically saying, we have intelligent players in this league. No one's disrespecting the anthem or disrespecting the flag. He spoke as if he was someone who understood what the message was. But then he had some other quotes out there that made you think, like, well, do you really get it? Or are you just parroting, what you're supposed to say to make the league and make yourself look good? Because he also said we have about a half a dozen players protesting, and we're going to continue to work to try to get that to zero. So it's like, okay, here we go again. You got to decipher what people are trying to say. You don't know who in today's world you can give the benefit of the doubt to. But however he tried to mean that, even if he meant it at face value, that's just something that you don't say. You're not trying to get, like, if all you're worried about is getting the protesters to zero, then it seems like you really don't get what you try to, what it seemed like you may have gotten earlier. Like, the NFL is not liable for what exactly, well, let me put it like this, B. Before the movement was co-opted, the NFL is not liable for what Colin Kaepernick started his protest about, but the NFL is a powerful enough entity to be able to help their players bring awareness to things like this and to get behind this movement, just like they get behind breast cancer and just like they get behind, whatever else the NFL gets behind. So that's kind of the point from that standpoint. But if you're just worried about how many players are protesting, then you really don't get it, because even if the NFL was to make a platform, throw some money into it, help them with awareness, that doesn't necessarily mean people will stop protesting, because the guys out there kneeling for the national anthem aren't protesting the NFL. They're protesting something else. So if all you're worried about is decreasing those numbers, then you really just don't get it. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm slave owner Buford T. Jones, and I'm trying to get my Negroes to understand that they cannot be offensive to the people that sign their checks. They just have to stop this kneeling and being ungrateful for the great country and the great conditions that they live in. And they're allowed to play football and run and jump and throw and sing and dance. And they even make a nice little wage for it. I don't understand why they're so I understand they don't like the rice I feed them, and cotton a little rough when they pick it, but they got it's better than it was. I realize why we have to address this topic and have this conversation, but I also want to put out there that at the very best, the NFL is amoral. At its worst, it's a representation of a collection of men who have no concern over what Colin Kaepernick, Malcolm Jenkins, Brandon Marshall, Kenny Stills, and to those players that I haven't named, Marshawn Lynch, to those players I haven't named, I apologize. If I missed you, shout out to Chris Long. Those owners don't care and never did and probably never will. And I would even go as far as to say that they really aren't that concerned about patriotism. But if you had to prioritize it, patriotism and all of that is certainly far up the ladder, or above the issues that Colin Kaepernick is kneeling for or protesting. And so I hear what Roger Goodell is saying, but ultimately the last statement you quoted is the telling statement. It really isn't about solving the issues or problems. It's about appeasing everyone involved, all stakeholders, giving them something, making them compromise, and ultimately making sure that the fan base doesn't leave and stop watching and investing and spending money and consuming. So, we're having a conversation and we're trying to interpret whether Roger Goodell understood the players' concerns about, social issues. Man, listen. Let's never mind the killing and murder of unarmed black men and women in this country by the police. Let's never mind institutional racism in the American justice system. Let's look at domestic violence. Let's look at narcotics use amongst players
in the league.
Yeah, all of these things exist in the league, and they would rather sweep it under the rug than address it and deal with it. They're going to say, I don't want to hear about that. I just come here to escape and get away from this because that's the predominant sentiment of the consumer and of the fan base. So it's reflected in the fact that ownership of the league, they're driving revenue and profitability. That has nothing to do with social issues.
You know what it is that I see, though, when I see Roger Goodell talk like this and, look like he's straddling the fence a little bit? I look at somebody who's doing exactly what he's supposed to do, though.
Doing his job.
He's in a no-win situation as far as the fans are concerned because he's a person who's trying to please two parties who are vehemently against each other. These parties work together. One of them works for the other
non-aligned.
However, but when these two parties are negotiating and stuff like that, they're negotiating with and against each other. He's trying to please both of them. I mean, we know his allegiance has to lie more on the owner side because that's where his bread is buttered, but he's still the commissioner of the league. So he has to try to keep morale high with his players. He has to try to keep the owners from flying off the edge and wanting to replace him because he's doing and saying the wrong things. So he's going to come off like that. So I don't even know why I was trying to decipher and try to get some sort of perception of what he was saying anyway, because he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's saying stuff to make his players think that he understands them, and then he has to speak on behalf of the owners. Like, we want this to stop.
We're objective.
So
we pride ourselves on a level of objectivity. Roger Goodell is very, very, very good at his job and what he is employed to do.
Extremely.
He's very good.
Extremely.
And
people don't understand that.
The fans
all the criticism he takes.
You don't understand what his job is, and so your criticisms are misplaced. Roger Goodell, I'll just call it what it really is. Roger Goodell works only for the ownership of the 32 teams in the NFL. Like, sometimes we have these conversations, and I feel like you inject certain other interests he may pay attention to. No, Roger Goodell works for 32 people and 32 people alone. He has no interest. His interests are not aligned with the fans. They're not aligned with the players, not aligned with the media. He gets his checks from the owners. So anything coming out of his mouth that's contrary to that is just smoke and mirrors in a show game, and should be looked at as such.
Exactly. Like I said, it was just what he said in regards to the players. It's a morale thing. You're just trying to keep morale. Whether you mean any of that or not, and I lean heavily towards the side of not, but then you make sure you have to balance that out by saying we want, the protest to stop. That's coming directly from the owners. Roger Goodell could be somebody who doesn't have an opinion either way. But you got to say what you got to say.
It's black on black crime that leads to all of this stuff anyway.
All right, so we'll see what comes of that. And by the way, your boy Jerry Jones got accosted in a hotel lobby, and the guy, with a sign, who was very well spoken, made him stand there and listen. So hopefully somebody or something is getting through to the dude. But I really think his players need. I mean, supposedly the Cowboys had a meeting last week with players and owners, executives in the organization. The fact that they came out of it still with this hard, fast rule of, nobody on this team better kneel for the anthem, it doesn't seem to me like they got anything done besides getting Jerry Jones to sit in the room with them, whether he was listening or not. But they really need to have some serious conversations when the owner of the team puts those kind of ultimatums out there publicly. Because shout out to Casey Mac 38, who's in the World of Sports Game Time group on the GroupMe app. He asked, what would be your take if no one takes a knee on the Cowboys or the Dolphins? The Dolphins are the other team whose owner laid out this ultimatum. In my opinion, I would just take it as these players are willing to be controlled by their owners and, just not willing to take a stand for
their property.
Just not willing to risk that. Yeah, I mean, however you want to look at it, but it just seems like they wouldn't. They're just not willing to risk anything.
Salute to Kenny Stills, because he's been very vocal, and he may be the only Dolphin that stands up against the Dolphins ownership. And if he does, he will probably lose his job, because he's a good little player, but he's not a star and he holds no weight, and they'll cut him. But he's been very vocal in support of Colin Kaepernick.
All right. So before we move on, man, it is that time of the show where we talk money, we talk investments, and we have Gus Griffin on the line to talk NFL investments with us. So get ready, everybody. Get your pen, your pad, however you take notes these days, your iPhone, your Android. Get ready to take some notes before you make that call to Vegas to invest in some NFL games this weekend. I think we have to hurry up, because I think the game that just kicked off, he might have an opinion on that one. Might be a little too late for action on that one, but we're going to get his words anyway. Let's go to the line. Gus, you there?
Yes. How are you?
Good, brother. How are you?
I'm all right. Let me just – since it did just start, I do have the Raiders plus the 3. I think they're going to win outright. And so let me get that out the way before the Chiefs run something back and I have to change my mind.
Never too late to invest.
Hey, that's right. And I have an explanation for my mediocrity.
Yeah, I gotta let the people know what you're talking about. Gus's overall record so far this season is 12-13-1. So what's your explanation for your mediocrity?
All right. When we started this about a month ago, I was in D.C., okay? The next week when we played, I was in Toronto. Last week, I was in Sacramento. And this week, I'm in Houston. So clearly jet lag has undermined my investment strategies. That should be understandable to everyone. It'll be settling down, and I'm going to get on target beginning this week.
Gus, I was initially thinking that you were going to come up with an excuse, but as opposed to an excuse, you gave us a reason. Everybody, clap it up for us.
We don't do excuses at War Room Sports. We give reasons. Jet is as legitimate a reason as any in the world. You know, for you people that don't fly anywhere, you know, you can't be out there judging because you don't know the half. But jet lag is real. All right, so we already talked about the Raiders and the Chiefs since they've already kicked off. That's due to us, you know, being a little late on our schedule today. Let's talk about the Colts versus the Jags.
Yeah, I got the Colts plus 3. I think they're going to win outright as well. Jags are an improved team, and they've had a couple of impressive wins. I think the odds makers know that the general public has noticed the Jags have gotten better, so they're giving them a little more credit than they deserve, and they know the public is going to run on Jags -3. I've taken the Colts +3.
Okay. And then we have the Bears versus the Panthers.
All right, this is the sniff game. The Panthers are only 3-point favorites. Whenever you see something like that, not all the time, but oftentimes, I think most people are going to take the Panthers with the later 3 and run. I'm taking the Bears, and I actually think they're going to win outright. So Bears +3.
All right. 49ers and Cowboys.
All right, that started out at Cowboys -3 before the Elliott announcement. Once the Elliott announcement came down, it went up to 6. It's about 6 or 7, depending on where you shop. The Niners have lost 5 straight games by 3 points or less. If there was ever a coach that might be a nominee for Coach of the Year who hasn't won a game, it might be Shanahan.
Shanahan.
They've bought in. They don't have the horses to win consistently. But they've bought in and they play hard. I think they're going to cover this 6 points. I got it at 6. I think they're going to cover. Wouldn't be shocked if they actually upset the Cowboys.
Well, yeah, I mean, like most of their games, even though they haven't won any, all of their games have been pretty close. So
yeah, after the first one, they got blew out the first game, but
yeah, it's chipping away. They're getting closer and closer. One of these days, they're going to actually get a win. But yeah, covering the spread, I'm with you on that one. Then we have the over/under for the Chargers-Broncos game at about 41.5. Where are you going with that one?
Yeah, I'm taking over. I mean, the Broncos have to put up more offensively than they did Sunday night against the Giants. I mean, surely they got to get more than that. And the Chargers generally play high-scoring games. Last week is a bit of an aberration, but I'm taking the over in that.
Actually, a quick question about the Chargers. I read an article today of unpopular opinions, and the person who wrote it seems to think that even though they only have 2 wins so far, that the Chargers will emerge as the team to beat in the AFC West. You give that any credence, or you think they need to pass whatever they're on?
I think he needs to put down the cheap drugs. I think sometimes some writers come up with things that are outlandish because it gets attention, and they're more interested in getting attention than actually putting forth a credible line of thinking or that has some basis to it. I think the Chargers are maybe the best worst team of a division in the league, but they're not the team to beat. Come on.
The tuna said you are your record.
You are what your record says you are. Exactly. Matter of fact, people are what their record says they are.
Well, in the very same article, the guy said the best quarterback drafted in the past 2 seasons is Jared Goff. Now, it's like we have no way of actually knowing that so far. But if you're going to speak right now, there's no way you can say that.
How do you put him over Wentz? How do you put him over Wentz right now? If he wants to say the most upside, okay, but there's no way he's been better than Wentz at this point. No, it's just not true.
Right. He said something along the lines of Dak came into a playoff-ready team, and Wentz about Wentz because it was reach. It didn't even seem like a criticism, but he said something where he had to reach and give a reason why Goff was better than Wentz right now. But I'll figure it out, even if I have to tell you about it off air. Okay, so we are at, speaking of Jared Goff, we are at the Rams and the Cardinals. The over-under on that game is 47.
I'm taking 47. I think either of them is going to get close to 40. And so, I think that's going to be a pretty comfortable over.
Okay. Over 47 for the Rams Cardinals. Those are Gus's investment picks for the week. We got to get over 500 to start before you go on this run and dominate for the rest of the season. So get off of those airplanes.
All right.
No, you stay in one place.
Well, I got a little more. I got a little more traveling. I'm on sabbatical. I got a little more traveling to do, but since I've used this reason, I won't revert to it anymore, no matter how much more traveling I do. Is that acceptable?
No narcotics, and make sure that the ladies of the evening have pigment. And you'll be okay.
Oh, and by the way, one more time. This weekend I'll have another column coming out. It'll be called Monopolies and Super Teams. So look out for that this weekend.
All right. All you NBA heads out there, sounds like it's relative. So, all right, guys, we will talk to you next week. Hopefully, we get over 500 this week.
All right.
That's the goal.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Talk to you next week. All right. Thank you. Gus Griffin, everybody, and his NFL investment picks of the week. I see we got some calls on the line, but I wanted to talk to you, B. Austin, about some things that happened in the league last week, man. Most notable, your boy, Meadowlark Lemon, a.k.a. Aaron Rodgers, a.k.a. B.I.L., a.k.a. might be the G-O-A-T.
Gaw.
Shout out to the homie Rob out in Cali with all the AKAs. A.k.a. God. He's the latest superstar to go down. He has a fractured collarbone. He broke his collarbone, and he's slated to be out for the rest of the season. But they're waiting till after the surgery which I think he had today, to announce whether or not they're going to put him on IR. So I guess they needed to get the surgery done and actually find out what the timetable was supposed to be to see if it was worth bringing him back. First of all, if they don't put him on IR, do you think Hot Rod Hundley and what's left on this roster is good enough to keep this team in contention to even wait for an Aaron Rodgers if they say he could come back, say at the end of the season or in the playoffs? Think they're good enough?
You made my point and posed it as a question. Absolutely, positively not. The Aaron Rodgers is the God quarterback, but the Green Bay Packers as a team are false prophets because they're just not really good outside of him. Like, he enhances what they are at least twofold, because without him, I see them being on par with a Peyton Manningless Indianapolis when he rolled. Like, that's how I see Green Bay. They're probably not that bad, but they're lacking talent in a lot of areas. That Aaron Rodgers is able to compensate for and mask and first of all, their O-line is tredubbish. Their receivers are overachievers, bars. And defensively, they're lackluster, mediocre at best. So their success is so dependent on one man. And Brett Hundley, or whatever his name is, showed you that in the Vikings game, that they're not good. They're not good at all, man. They're not good. Woo! Cheese is about to melt up there in Green Bay. The cheese is burnt. Word.
See, but the only thing that you could try to hang your hat on if you're a Green Bay fan is that the other team near the top of that division, the Minnesota Vikings, they're also working with a backup quarterback, even though Case Keenum so far has proven to be a little more adept at what he's doing than Hundley. I can't just throw all of that on Hundley. I mean, he's behind Aaron Rodgers. He's one of those guys who never gets a chance, so we can't just judge him by the initial throw-ins into the game. But, what he does in the next game or two is going to basically show us whether or not you're right in the fact that he's just not going to be able to get it done. And I don't put it just on him, because the way, you just talked about that team, it kind of shows you that there may not be another quarterback in the league besides Aaron Rodgers who could mask the shortcomings of this team and have them perennially a Super Bowl contender and a Super Bowl pick by many in the beginning of the season.
Green Bay did not learn its lesson from Indianapolis. Like, they don't invest in anything else other than, like, they don't invest in protecting him. They don't invest in what their receiving core is not bad. I don't want to make it seem like they're trash, but they're not. They're middle of the road to me, talent wise.
Devontae not great.
Yeah,
it may look better because of who's sticking the ball in the chest.
The Vikings. I wanted to talk about the Vikings a little bit in the context of Aaron Rodgers' injury and what this means. The Vikings have a good to above average starting quarterback with a plethora of talent around it. Like, the Vikings receiving core 1 through 3 is tough. Their defense is tough. And while the guy running the rock, toting the rock, is certainly not Adrian Peterson, he's very good. They are a very good team with an okay to good, I'd call Bradford a good quarterback. The Vikings are a trash team
if he can stay on the
field. With God at quarterback. That's the difference. So the Vikings, I believe, even with Case Keenum, they can still make noise and be a winning football team. Is Bradford slated to return from that knee thing? Will he get back?
Well, he came back last week and ended up leaving the game again. So it doesn't seem serious enough to, like, keep him out for a long period of time. But if he's just going to keep coming in and tweaking it, then maybe they need to sit him down for a while.
Man, you got to shut Aaron Rodgers down. You can't catch the Vikings. You can't do nothing with them. And even when Aaron Rodgers comes back, will he be the best version of himself to be able to step right in and do what he was doing pre-injury? Nah, man, you got to shut.
And they still have to contend with the Detroit Lions if they can get out of their own way and like, win or lose, the Detroit Lions are always fighting from behind.
The Detroit Lions offense is so explosive that it's scary. Like, they're the best mediocre team I think I've ever seen. Like, if
they can get explosive in the first quarter, it'll be a different story.
Yeah, that's true.
They're always explosive late. And
they're Bernard Hopkins with it.
Because if the highest paid player in NFL history can lead you to 38 points and you still get blown out, then there's something wrong on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, because all they got is quarterback.
If he can lead you to 38, but you still give up 52, then you got some things to work on in practice. So with Aaron Rodgers being out, here's something that I don't even know if you want to hear this.
No.
It'll justify, what you think of him, but I don't even know, as an Eagles fan, that this is what you want to hear.
We don't have to talk about it. Don't say it, man.
Carson Wentz is now the odds-on favorite after 6 weeks with his 5-1 Philadelphia Eagles team to win the MVP award this season. Of the top 5 candidates, which are all quarterbacks, he's number 1. Carson Wentz, Alex Smith, Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson, a rookie, and Russell Wilson. What do you think about people singing his praises this early and this much? And these are all like betting odds at this point, but still, for him to be number 1 with these odds real quick, like, what do you think of it? Does it scare you?
I'm comfortable.
As a fan, does it scare you?
I'm comfortable if it's solely in a vacuum. We're talking about Carson Wentz because I believe the hype. I saw the hype. I saw the hype last year when he was throwing the ball and hitting his receivers in the hands, and they were dropping it, and we're talking about how inaccurate Carson Wentz is because those statistics look like he's the numbers are lying. The men are lying, the women are lying, and the numbers are lying. But now this year, they've upgraded the talent immensely, and he's just doing what I saw last year, flashes of, but much more consistent. And he's still got a long way to go. Like, I think if this Carson Wentz is in MVP running, yo, we got one, yo. Because I don't even think this is anywhere near his ceiling. Like, I think that he can improve year over year for the next 5 seasons and be something special. My problem with this is the implications for the entire organization and the expectations that will now be put at the feet of the Philadelphia Eagles. We do better coming sneaking up on you from behind, up out the swamp, put the Bowie knife up under you and get you that way. When we just riding straight ahead in the tank facing up, nah, I don't want expectations, man. That MVP puts expectations at the feet of the organization. I hate that.
Well, we got the homie Fred Perdue on the line to talk to us about some college football, but I know he's a big proponent of Carson Wentz's game as well, and has been since he came out of college. So we're gonna bring Fred on the line a little bit early and get his opinion on this whole Carson Wentz for MVP candidacy.
Fred put me on
Fred,
a little
what's
bit.
going on, good brother?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Man,
pretty good. How are you?
Highly favored.
Man,
now,
I'm great.
I had to bring you on the line, while we were wrapping up this whole NFL talk about Carson Wentz, because you've been, you've had high praise for his game and, what it was going to do as far as leading to wins for the Philadelphia Eagles this year. So what are your thoughts when you hear right now that after 6 weeks, he's the odds-on favorite to win the MVP? Any surprise there?
I'm not shocked.
Fred gonna say, what took so long?
Actually, you kind of hit the nail on the head, because even though my quarterback in New England is doing real well with numbers, numbers sound great until you look at the record, and the record doesn't lie in Philly. And shameless plug over on Cover 2 with McMillan and Purdue. I picked those same Eagles, led by that same Carson Wentz, to win that division behind Carson Wentz. And
I picked the Giants.
Exactly.
I picked the Giants too.
See, I saw what I saw was, I was listening to B. Austin a couple minutes ago, and I'm saying, man, Nelson Aguilar is dropping everything. He can't catch a cold, and that makes your percentages look bad. And now you have Alshon Jeffrey, you have Torrey Smith, you have Nelson Aguilar catching passes. Unfortunately,
Nelson Aguilar like a go-to dude now. Like, what the hell happened?
Exactly. It didn't. Even the tight ends are getting involved. Unfortunately, Lil Mighty Might isn't. Darren Sproles isn't getting involved anymore. Man, that sucks, because I've always been a big fan. But and then you have a running game with LeGarrette Blount, so that takes the pressure off of him. So I'm not calling him like Super Bowl and all of that, but I saw this in college, and dear Cleveland, you screwed up again. Passing on another quarterback.
They done passed up on him. They passed up on Deshaun Watson. Like, they're just watching everybody get off in the league. Like, damn. So they have to pick Josh Rosen next year, right? They have to. If they get the opportunity.
That is if the Sam Darnold train doesn't just come falling off the tracks, because everyone was in love with Sam Darnold. So and in the same way how people were in love with a Carson Wentz, or not so in love with the Jared Goff, who turns out to be, looks like he can actually spin it a little bit. So, but yeah,
I'm impressed. I'm impressed with what I'm seeing. I'm definitely impressed with the moxie. I do, as I've said in the past, with young QBs that I like, that have that hero ball in them, please get down. Like let's not
we don't need
learn
any
how
more
to slide. Yo, my man Carson Wentz is cool with taking a punch in the face from Mike Tyson if he can complete a 20-yard pass, and that's not how you live a long time. So I want him to learn how to live to fight another day on certain plays, but his accuracy and his arm strength
learn from, like Fred said, Andrew Luck. He should learn from Cam Newton. These are all dudes who, have had to rehab crazy injuries because of the recklessness that they play with.
That's the reason Cam ain't good now.
Exactly.
Let's talk
exactly.
some college football. So let's get some stuff from Fred, because we got some callers on the line we got to get to after his segment. Let's start off, Fred, with some Heisman talk, man. What's going on? We talked about it a few weeks ago, and the name that pops up is Saquon Barkley from the Penn State Nittany Lions. But what are your thoughts at this point of the season on the Heisman? Who's in the mix?
For me, Saquon Barkley, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, the kid is balling. I mean, he's the do-it-all. He's everything for this Penn State team. If you take him off right now, I don't think there's anybody else in the country you can replace him with and say you're getting the same production. He's a do-it-all back. He's in the mold of that LaDainian Tomlinson type player where he can catch the football, the Marshall Faulk type guys. It's yards from scrimmage. It's not rushing yardage. It's not necessarily catching the ball. He does everything, and he's a big guy. 5'10", 225, got good wiggle. He has wiggle, and you don't see big guys with wiggle. And B. Austin, I know you know what I'm talking about when he has wiggle, because some of these big dudes, they're not flexible, and they're not able to be shifty. This guy's shifty. He can cut across field in no time and make plays. And the numbers sometimes don't look great running the ball, but he helps you on kick returns, punt returns. Those in college football, those are the plays, those explosive plays, flipping the field, whether it's a long punt return or even just a nice screen pass and something like that to change the momentum of a game where you're down 10 points and you're up against it. He can change the momentum of a game, and that's right now what I'm looking at.
So what you're saying is, college-wise, he's a big-ass Christian McCaffrey.
Quite honestly, I think he kind of is an exception to the rule. I think he's going to be one of those NFL backs that we think, you know how we say the running back is dead in the NFL? Well, he's going to join the likes of Melvin Gordon, Todd Gurley, Ezekiel Elliott, Le'Veon Bell. He's gonna as a first round guy. I don't know where right now, because the thing is, we're way too early to be talking draft this early, but positioning at least. But he's one of those guys that he's the exception to the rule. As long as Penn State running backs always tend to get hurt for whatever reason, but if it's not him, and I really don't think there's ever going to be a dude that repeats. But Lamar Jackson, at least at the college level, is special. He had 500 yards of offense last week.
Yeah, he's like watching a video game.
Exactly. Exactly.
He's video game worthy.
And I haven't said that about a quarterback in a while, since probably Johnny Manziel. And anybody that knows my love for the college game knows Johnny Manziel is the best quarterback I've ever seen. I won't say best. Let me rephrase that. He's the most exciting quarterback I've ever seen to play college football, and that includes my.
Yeah, I'm glad you corrected yourself there.
Let me correct myself. Most exciting, because every play you have to watch, and when you take down an Alabama team that's favored by at least 2 touchdowns, and you take down you take Florida to the brink and LSU to the brink as a redshirt freshman, but Lamar Jackson, he's special, but the thing is, his team isn't special, and he's having to play what B. Austin called hero ball. And hero ball is, I need 250 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. I need 150 yards rushing, and you're still going to lose 42-35.
Dang. All right, I got to ask you about a team that's near and dear to your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk progress. Your boys down in Miami they are 5-0, first in the ACC Coastal Division.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to know is, Fred, are they for real, and is the U back?
I've been kind of going back and forth on this question, and the fan in me says, hell yeah, we're back. But the realist in me takes a step back and says, Florida State after the season they're having, we snuck by them. It took a last-second crazy, gutsy, ballsy play call by Mark Richt with a 6'5" receiver catching the ball over the middle, going down the sideline. His knee goes down. I'm going to say it wasn't a touchdown. I'll admit it. It wasn't a touchdown. I think his knee hit before Daryl Langham's knee hit before he crossed. And then again, the week after, you got to turn around and play Georgia Tech in that old school triple option offense in the rain, the pouring hurricane-like rain. I mean, you see what I did there. And you need that same Daryl Langham, the third string receiver.
Bars.
You need that to come up with a huge clutch win. By kicker Michael Badgley, who might have a chance at an NFL future. But to answer the question, not yet. Close. I need maybe 2 more recruiting classes, and you may be back to saying that you might be back at that point. If they can hit some key spots like quarterback, offensive line, maybe some pass rushers. Pass rushers are always key.
All right, so we'll keep, we'll see if they keep racking up the wins, and we will circle the wagons, and I'm going to definitely come back to you on whether or not the U is back.
We'll know this
like
weekend.
They're on their way back.
We'll know this weekend after they face Syracuse. I mean, they're facing the team that knocked off the national champions.
I was about to say, Cuse just took Clemson out. So, Cuse, don't play with Cuse. All right, but real quick before we get you out of here, just give us a couple of games this weekend that the viewers out there shouldn't miss.
Games you shouldn't want to miss. Early on, for me, I always default to the SEC, even if it isn't right now the best conference. First and foremost, Alabama's a 34-point favorite against Tennessee with a head coach that is pretty. I think Butch Jones has Marvin Lewis syndrome somehow, some way. He has something on somebody on the higher ups at the University at Tennessee because he hasn't been fired yet, and I still don't know how. After being just decimated, Georgia destroyed you, and now you're a 34-point underdog. The worst point spread line ever in school history. So
that sounds like a game we can miss.
It's a game you can miss, but you don't want to miss because you know how those point spreads are. Something stupid always happens in college football where you're going to see, Tennessee's in this game at the very end because Alabama decides, never mind, they're not sleepwalking. Nick Saban's not sleepwalking through that one. It might actually be a 34. But just to see Jalen Hurts go silly, Lamar Jackson show is coming to Tallahassee. Last year it was a 56-7 blowout last year. It was ugly. Maybe Florida State gets a little bit of redemption. I just don't know about this team because they're so banged up, and Blackman at quarterback is just not. B. Austin, I know you love these young quarterbacks, but I've literally seen Steph Curry is bigger than him. He's bigger than him. And this kid might be 165.
Like 160 pounds.
Steph Curry is not the biggest dude on the planet, but Steph Curry makes this dude look like a
Allen Iverson was the greatest quarterback in Virginia State history.
Hey, I remember I saw those tapes, and I must say he was explosive. He was very explosive.
He's 100 tall. He's actually quarterback height, but only weighs like 160, 170. Like he's just a bean.
He Ethiopian back in the 90s. At least
Iverson was only in high school. He probably was only like 5'9", 5'10". So you didn't expect him to weigh a ton. Like this dude is quarterback height, but doesn't have a quarterback build. So, all right, Fred. No love for the boys and the Nittany Lions, man.
I think that's. Penn State. You're gonna want to see Penn State, Michigan. Michigan has a national championship caliber defense, but the offense led by Jake O'Korn, who's at his third school now, it's not looking good, and I really I don't see how if Michigan can't score points, they're in trouble. Rashawn Gary, number 1 overall player coming out of high school last year, is now a sophomore, and he is wreaking havoc on everyone. I really can't wait to see how he affects the line of scrimmage. We always talk about big people win championships. Well, they have 2 really good big people, Mo Hurst and Rashawn Gary from Michigan. They're going to be able to. They can control the lines of scrimmage. They may have a chance. But Saquon Barkley is just going to be fun to watch. And my personal favorite this week, I have no love for the little green people up in South Bend, but USC Notre Dame it brings back memories of the Bush Push, and I always tune into that one of the best rivalry games in college football.
Always push the Bush. All right, so I'm looking at this game as we speak. Looks like Amari Cooper might be back. But, Fred, good looking out. We will talk to you next week about some more college football. And, everybody, you can go to the War Room Sports Podcast Network. And if you need more college football talk with Fred, you can check out Quick Slants. Just go to warroomsports.com, click on the WRS Podcast Network tab, and look for Quick Slants. You can listen to all the archive episodes of Quick Slants to get all your in-depth college football news, notes, and analysis every week. So, Fred, we will holler at you next week, good brother.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on.
No doubt. It's Fred Purdue, everybody. And before we move on a little bit, let's go to the phone lines. We had some people waiting for a while. We got the homie Tobias waiting on the line, and I'm sure he want to talk about his Alabama boys with a 34-point spread. Tobias, what's going on, good brother? You in the War Room?
Roll down Tide, baby. What's going on, fellas?
What's up, man?
Hey,
Roll Tide.
Dodgers gonna make the World Series. We call college football, the 2017 college football season, a Roll Tide Invitational. That's what we're calling it. This game, there ain't gonna be no complacency.
With the Dodgers, man, it's like it's about damn time because the Dodgers are always.
You ain't lying.
Like the Dodgers.
If Reagan was in office, woo!
they were in the mix when the Phillies were good back in 2008, 2009, 2010. Like the Phillies always had to go through the Dodgers at some point in the playoffs to get to where they went, and then Dodgers couldn't make it, but the Dodgers stayed consistent, but they just couldn't get there. So this is their time. They can't possibly blow this league.
I got hooked on them. They used to have spring training in Florida, and so we took a trip out there when I was a kid, and I just came hooked and stuff. I always thought Tommy Lasorda was funny, but the thing is, I'm gonna tell everybody out there. I'm gonna tell Fred. I know he's an analyst. Alabama, Tennessee gonna get Tyrone Hill ugly real quick. That's all I got to say. But a couple of quick things I want to
real quick because the Dodgers are up 3-0 in Game 5 of the NLCS. So with Kershaw
baby. Yeah, I'm on my way home from work.
They have to go to the World Series tonight, right? They have to. They can't blow.
Yeah, you got to go. I'm on my way home from work. But here's the thing also. I got to say these couple of things. First, I'm glad Bobby Porter's laid out Mary. That's the only the only fight the Bulls could put up this year. But I heard everybody talking the anthem stuff, right? And they talking about, the NBA. They said, we already do our stuff. I'm like, come on, guys. It's collectively bargained that you got to stand up, you don't get fined. Come on, guys. You ain't got to lie to us. Just say it's collectively bargained. It's a rule. Just say it. We'll be all right. Don't be talking about like, oh, you wearing a T-shirt. Or you're going before the ESPYs and saying a speech that made white people feel comfortable is fighting the system. No, it ain't. And so I say this. When they talk about customer base, they talk about white people. As Rob Parker say, they don't consider the black dollar. They're not even paying attention to what the black fans want and feel. It's about white people getting mad. And I say that's how you should do it. You should make them mad, make them feel uncomfortable, because they don't care about us being uncomfortable. Wherever an unarmed black person killed by a cop and they run his record through the mud, a black person has his money right but can't get a loan, can't get a job despite checking all the boxes, while the white guy who's a dropout or a high school graduate gets a job. They don't worry about us feeling comfortable then, but they want us to feel comfortable about their little feelings now. I say bump them.
I hear you. I hear you.
Hey, can I say this real quick? Y'all talking about Carson Wentz? And first, I agree with the list of Andrew Luck being overrated, not because he's a bad quarterback, but because of those unrealistic expectations they put on him before he did anything. But the thing is, look at the way Carson Wentz is coached. He is getting some damn good coaching. And they make him, for a couple of games I watched of him, they make sure they get him into a rhythm first. We get him to a rhythm. Get us with easy throws. Get him there. And then we're going to go take these shots. Because little be known right now, Tampa's coach, Dirk Cutter, going to be on a hot seat after this season. You know? And I'm just being honest with you guys. Because of all this expectation. And you watch him coach, the defense don't even try to mix it up and fool nobody. They made the Arizona Cardinals, who half the team was like pretty much going to get an AARP card, and I'm still wondering how you let a Hall of Fame wide receiver, Larry Fitzgerald, run uncovered. But then the offense also, they don't mix it up. They don't try to get the quarterback comfortable. They keep handing off the bad running backs. And I think expectations is what's going to doom that coach. And I hope with the Eagles that they had these raised expectations, and they are realistic as well, with Carson Wentz only being a second-year player. But you guys have a star, man. He's the deal. He's the real deal.
I hope so, man. I really haven't gotten, like, this special feel from an Eagles quarterback in a long time. It might be Randall.
30 years since Randall.
Even in that situation, I was a kid, so it didn't take much for me to think you were special. and Randall, in my opinion, was always the victim of like, you know, what Tobias was just talking about, just bad coaching. Like, you had the ultimate weapon, but you had a head coach who didn't give a damn about anything but defense. But even if that's your MO, you have to put the right people in place offensively so that you can look like a genius on that side of the ball too, even if you don't know what's going on. And you got a weapon like that, and you don't put much around them, and you know this is what ends up happening. But you know, I'm getting that special feel when I watch this dude play. But Tobias, man, good looking out. Thanks for your call. Even when we on at a later hour, you still bang with us, so you know we appreciate that.
We appreciate you, absolutely.
Hey man, you know I gotta support the brothers, man, and I'll leave y'all with this. The reason, like, with Jemele Hill should take a note from you guys' playbook. Go independent. She may not make as much money as ESPN, and you know I have my issues with her and stuff. You know, same with the white men of America. But the thing is that you go independent. You can say what you want. You still have your credentials because who she is. And the thing is, you may not make that money, but she don't have to worry about answering to anybody. So I hope the black sports pundits out there who working for these big networks take heed of that, man. But hey, you guys have a good one, man.
All right, brother.
You too, man.
We appreciate it.
Peace, guys.
Jamel, you listening?
Now, I keep thinking, like, because I didn't see her when she talked about this. Like, did she actually say that, or did she just share the article that the dude from Very Smart Brothers wrote about the black man being like the black
I don't know.
being the white person of the white male, whatever they said.
I heard she commented.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I never knew if she commented or not because it wasn't hers, and it seemed like a lot of people are giving the credit to her when she didn't write it or anything like that.
She agreed or concurred with his position in some way. So
All right, well, before we move on and talk about what happened this week while y'all were on the grind, just want to give an update about the MLB playoffs. And like I just said a few minutes ago, in Game 5 of the NLCS with the Dodgers holding a 3-1 lead, they are up 3-0 on the Cubs tonight. So it looks like the Dodgers with Kershaw on the mound is looking to end this and finally make the World Series after something like 27 years, 27, 29, one of those. But it's been a long time for the Dodgers, long time coming, and it looks like they're going to get back there tonight unless things fall apart. And shout out to the Roots. We know things do sometimes fall apart. But looking on the other side, in the American League, the Yankees, who were down in this series, as they were in the last series, they were down 2-0 to the Astros, have won 3 straight games, and they now hold a 3-2 lead in the ALCS. So if everything holds pat as it is right now, we might see a New York Yankees versus Los Angeles Dodgers, two biggest markets in America going at it for the World Series. So that'll be pretty exciting. We'll see. I don't think either of these teams were favored to do so. Not a heavy favorite, at least, when the season started. So this would be pretty good World Series to see. All right. One last thing, stat of the week, and it's also related to the playoffs, and it goes back to Game 4 of the Cubs and Dodgers series. Game 4 was the only the only game of the series that the Cubs have won so far. And the stat of the week is the fact that solo home runs accounted for every run in the 3-2 victory that the Cubs had over the Dodgers in Game 4 of the NLCS. Javier Baez homered twice, while Wilson Contreras, Cody Bellinger, and Justin Turner each went deep once. The 5 combined runs were the most of any game in postseason history among games in which every run scored was on a solo home run. The only other postseason game with as many as 3 bases empty homers driving in all the runs was Game 1 of the 1983 World Series, where my Phillies outscored and out-homered the Orioles 2-1 in Baltimore. So shout out to the Cubs winning a 3-2 game where every single run in the game was off of a solo.
So they went deep 5 times.
Yeah, nobody's playing small ball here.
I went deep a whole lot. Went deep a whole lot more than 5 times. But
shout out to Will Chamberlain.
The great chasing Will.
Shout out to Willie Will. All right, so before we talk about what happened this week while y'all were on the grind, y'all know the deal. Y'all can check out our website at warroomsports.com. While you're there, take your time, look around, click on the Contact Us tab, send us a message about the company, the show, or to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities or joining the network in any capacity. For general inquiries, email us, info@warroomsports.com. While you're on the site, make sure you click the memorabilia tab so you can buy War Room Sports merchandise. Click the blog tab to read our latest articles in the All Fair and Sports and World blog. Then click the respective icons and tabs to follow us on all of our social media platforms, to subscribe to our iTunes podcast, to watch our webcast at War Room Sports TV, to listen to the WRS Podcast Network, and to download our free War Room Sports mobile app on Android or iOS to get everything I just mentioned on the go. Join the JW Philly Realty chat room right now during the show. All you got to do to join that is go to blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. To enter the chat room, just sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to create an account, you can sign up to your Facebook and Twitter accounts. But while you're there, make sure you click follow. That'll get you updates and reminders about the show. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, the chat room, and the War Room Sports Game Time group on the GroupMe app during the show. But if you want to call in and speak with us, the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline will be reopened right after while y'all were on the grind. That number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted if you're already listening from your phone. Just press 1 if you want to talk. And shout out to Skyview 1 and Shadow Warrior, who are currently in the chat room. What's up, fellas? Skyview was talking about how he's actually boycotted the NFL this season, but tonight is kind of hard because his Raiders are playing on national TV. I feel you. Like, for me, for doing what we do, like, I have to be in the know. So, as much as I stand with these guys, as much as I stand with Colin Kaepernick, I couldn't just completely go dark on the NFL season. But what I have done is, besides our show, B. Austin, like, I don't talk much about football. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely not I haven't supported with the merchandise and anything like that. I was scheduled to go to a game a few weeks ago. We sold the tickets for that. Didn't make the trip to L.A. to see the Chargers and Eagles. I still have a trip on the book, another LA trip on the book to see the Rams and Eagles in a few weeks. We'll see, what comes of that. But we stand with them. But got to do what we got to do.
I support.
Have to be in the know.
I support. I support them as a black man, as a human, as someone who wants to see change in a positive direction. But call me when you're ready to pick that thing up with the ladder extendo. Like, other than that, I'm not boycotting. Like, what's that going to do? They don't consider us or our dollars anyway. We're 15% of the population here.
Shoot, our last caller was just talking about that. All right, but let's get into this real quick because we don't have too much time left, and we got some stuff to talk about. While y'all on the grind, of course, is brought to you by DirecTV. If you'd like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, including some of the most extensive sports packages offered by any service, go to DirecTV.com. Order yourself a better TV experience. Call yourself a sports fan, then you gotta get DirecTV. B, what's up with your man Sam's? If y'all don't know who Sam's is, or Steel, the homie Jermaine Hopkins, the actor who once played Sam's and Lean on Me and Steel and Juice, he was busted with 5.7 pounds of weed. The police in, what town was he in? Apex, North Carolina, spotted Sam's driving 70 in a 55. Once they pulled him over, they found 5.7 pounds of weed in his trunk and arrested him for felony drug possession with an intent to sell. He was also tagged with a speeding ticket and released on $3,000 bond. This is not the first time he's been busted. He was also busted in 2011 for buying 200 pounds of weed from an undercover cop. So, 5 pounds versus 200, seems like he trying to clean up his act, but he just hasn't gotten there yet. My question is this. How come when we see stories like this with the black dudes, a speeding ticket always turns into your trunk getting checked and them finding stuff that they're not supposed to find? Like, how does driving 15 miles over the speed limit end up with you getting your car trunk? Getting your car checked and you getting arrested for a felony drug possession.
Yes, I'm not going to answer that because I believe it's rhetorical. But I'm going to pose my own question after I state some facts. The state of Washington last year pulled in $154.6 million in taxes from marijuana sales, and they expected to exceed $1 billion in revenue from marijuana sales by the year 2020. Last year, the state of Washington sold an estimated $257 million worth of marijuana. Oregon, they pulled in $300 million in marijuana tax, and they have 309 dispensaries. And I'm not going to go through all the states that sell. Our nation's capital, the District of Columbia, just recently went ahead and became marijuana legal, and they pulled in 700,000. California, of course, by far,
the crime.
The state of California sold, this is not taxed, the state sold $2.7 billion worth of marijuana. That's the state sales. So the question that I have is, why do we have this imposing, dire-looking picture of this man, up his guilty picture that they put up for all folks that are caught doing something wrong, as if marijuana is a class 1 drug that leads to death and destruction. Why is it that the U.S. government is now openly investing in, reaping the benefits of, taxing and selling marijuana? Come on, man. Get out of here.
That's a good question. And throughout that whole line of questioning, the fact that the homie Sam's got busted about 6 years ago for the exact same thing, even though, we have these rhetorical questions that we're asking, he still has to get one of these. You should be ashamed of yourself. The way you carry yourself. Sing it to him, JoJo.
He gets a JoJo for not learning his lesson. He gets a JoJo for getting caught and not being smoother, especially if you played in the movie Juice. He gets a JoJo on so many levels. Those questions were independent of his behavior. He still is owed a JoJo.
No doubt. All right, so Chris Long, Philadelphia Eagles defensive end. We already chronicled earlier in the season how he was donating his first 6 game checks to educational causes in his hometown of Charlottesville, Virginia. He has decided now to also donate the rest of this year's salary, his next 10 checks, to increase educational equality. What he's doing now, he's using the next 10 to launch the Pledge 10 for Tomorrow campaign. So he's starting a foundation off of it. And this is the quote from Chris Long. He said, "My wife and I have been passionate about education being a gateway for upward mobility and equality. I think we can all agree that equity in education can help affect change that we all want to see in this country." So what are your thoughts to the homie Chris Long donating the rest of his 2017 NFL salary to a good cause? What do you think?
I'm always happy to support and point to what I perceive to be genuine acts of altruism, kindness, and real philanthropy. Real risks are being taken to help others.
Yeah.
And I perceive
more real than a whole year of your salary.
I could be wrong because I can't give a whole year of my salary, so I can't do it, and he's doing it. I respect it. I don't
very
know
mad family
because I don't know him personally, of course, but I perceive Chris Long to be genuine and sincere in not only his actions but in the words of support that he offers to Colin Kaepernick, because he is one of the few white players who have come out in support of Colin Kaepernick and in support of his teammate Malcolm Jenkins, and he articulated why he supports them and why he will not kneel, and I respect it. And but Charlottesville, Virginia, which is where he's from, he was so moved by that. He was so ashamed. He was so hurt. Like, it really affected him. So I think that he's all in, and I really believe that he's genuine in his actions and words.
Agreed. Because he definitely said, our hometown's a wonderful place, and I feel like people got the wrong idea about what the residents of Charlottesville are all about. So kudos to him and what he's doing. Look, man, I'm watching some of this game on the monitor, and I'm watching my homie Russell Westbrook on one. I'm watching the Thursday night football game on the other. Man, if this is all it took to have Alex Smith consistently go down the field, then the Chiefs should have drafted a rookie quarterback in the first round a long time ago.
The Niners should have drafted a rookie quarterback.
He's turned into one of the check down Charlies to like the Mad Bomber. When your job is on the line, you take chances.
I swear to you, I've always thought that this was in Alex Smith. Like, I've always thought, I never thought of him as like
be like, let your hands go. He's one of them boxers that got skills. He doesn't. But you got to keep screaming, let your hands go. Let your hands go.
How we used to watch Chad Pennington, and we used to say, oh, man, bless his heart. Bless his heart. He's trying. I felt like Alex Smith had the ability to throw the football and do these things and just wouldn't. Like, Chad Pennington couldn't. But Alex wouldn't. So I'm like, him and Sam Bradford, I feel, are two guys that have all of the talent and ability in the world, but are fearful sometimes of results that they don't, and they're scared to take the risk. They're not like Brett Favre and his children and his grandchildren in the league that just throw and don't care where the ball ends up because you got to take chances, and they're like not risk takers. So I'm happy to see him come out of his cocoon now at damn near middle age and about 7 years from actually being a man. I'm happy to see his maturation.
Right. The crazy part about it is, he might have to keep maturing on another team, but
oh yeah, he's gone.
We shall see.
About it.
All right, so lastly, while y'all were on the grind, B, I know you saw the little social media campaign about sexual harassment and sexual assault towards women, and they had the hashtag #MeToo, and it was basically giving women a chance to speak up about something that maybe they've been holding back, a time that they've been sexually harassed or assaulted, and it's given them an opportunity to have the conversation. Like, I saw a lot of, people in my personal social media feeds that I had no idea had gone through anything like that.
Dog. This is such a sensitive topic for the world, for our sisters, for women and humanity. It shouldn't even be gender specific. It should be humanity in general. And I'm always shocked when I have to face the reality of the statistics and have a conversation around how many human beings, particularly women, who face sexual abuse, sexual assault. Like, it baffles my mind. At some level, I have to be naive. I have to be somewhere off in my own world, because it's literally like 1 in 4, 1 in 5. Like it's like 25%. And when you think about it, let me break down what 1 in 4 means. You have you and I, we have wives. You have 2 beautiful angels, princesses. That's 3. So the 4th woman, statistically speaking, I can't even fathom that. I can't fathom, 1 in 4 women have been sexually assaulted, sexually abused, raped. I just, and the stories that they share, it makes me sick. It makes me angry. It's like because you feel powerless, and then you understand that psychologically, rape and sexual assault are oftentimes, more often than not, they have nothing to do with sexual enjoyment, but exercising power over prey. And it's just like, that's just, oh my God, I can't.
Yeah.
Like it's purely insanity. Man.
We got the
insanity.
Blueprint in the building. What up, Blueprint? But
Yo, man. I real quickly, Austin, because I'm not really trying to change the topic, but I was trying to say something for a minute about Alex Smith was actually the first pick of the draft, so he was supposed to have been doing this. But how dare you try to sneak in that little Sam Bradford love? Come on, man, FOH with that, man. Sam Bradford ain't got all the talent in the world. FOH, you try to sneak that in, man. Yo, that's the real check that I tell you, man. I just want you to know I caught that, man. That's all, man. Don't try to sneak that in there, man.
Yo, people that don't watch the game can't comment on Sam, man.
I mean, put it like this. Up until this year, I watched the game, and I doubt Sam Bradford did anything this year. He may have, but I doubt it.
He did some stuff last year. Dev, come to that man.
No, he didn't.
The Native American brothers' defense.
Stop it.
He did some.
I would, man, but we got to talk about Michaela Maroney real quick, man. One of the gymnasts on the 2012 London Olympic team. She got in on her Twitter account on the Me Too hashtag, and she talked about how former USA gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar repeatedly molested her starting way back when she was 13 years old. She said he abused her under the guise of providing medically necessary treatment. That treatment began when she was 13, continued during her performance at the 2012 Olympics, and only ended when she left the sport in 2016. She said, "It seemed whenever and wherever this man could find the chance, I was treated. It happened in London before my team and I won the gold medal, and it happened before I won my silver." This guy, this isn't the first person who's come out and said this type of stuff about him. As a matter of fact, he was arrested last November and accused of sexually assaulting female minors throughout his career as a doctor. His attorneys didn't respond to CNN's calls regarding her allegations, but this is crazy. Like I said earlier, it was crazy enough seeing how many people I actually know personally who got in on this hashtag and had stories of being either sexually harassed or sexually assaulted. Now, we know sexual harassment, that runs a large gamut. So these days, people really have to be careful what they say to one another in the work environment, because sexual harassment is kind of broad, kind of general. Sexual assault, not so much. There's some things that people who are doing the assaulting might not agree with as being like a sex crime or sexual assault, but it is what it is. But it was just amazing to see how many women share this story. So this is something that the campaign was used to get the conversation started. What I did see in some cases were women actually putting the Me Too hashtag, but then not wanting to talk about whatever it is that they were holding back. Now, I'm sure it's something difficult to talk about, but at the same time, in those cases, I wonder if it's the smartest move to get in on the hashtag if you're not going to talk about it. Because this was,
you're asking, is it an attention grab?
Yeah, you said it. I mean, I ain't trying to get them consumer rate people coming after me. Oops, did I say that again? So that's what happened this week. And excuse my voice, everybody. They had your man out there coaching soccer, and I'm a screamer. So even though the kid is 6 years old, I was still yelling at him. So that's why my voice is the way it is. So that's what happened this week while y'all on the grind. We're going to get some quick birthday shout-outs before we talk about this thing of ours, which started this week and has been pretty good so far. But the birthdays, as usual, brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. Do you or your business need a custom website, But for dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom website solutions, you need Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence, top quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices. And yes, financing options are available, so visit digitalextremetech.com or call 267-205-4203. And for discounted rates, be sure to tell them War Room Sports.
My birthday, yay!
All right, shout out to the homie Brad Daugherty, former NBA center, but I think his love is way deeper for NASCAR than it is the NBA. He turns 52. Webster Slaughter, former receiver for your Cleveland Browns, he turns 53. I know.
How is Webster Slaughter 53? How?
Yeah, it's because you getting old, dog. Webster Slaughter 53. That means that's all that means. Your man Evander Holyfield, he turns 55.
How is he that young?
How is he alive? But
he
turns 55. Shout out to the champ. Bruce Weber is 61, and a happy birthday shout out also to 63-year-old Joe Jellybean Bryant. We like to give all of these people a War Room Sports salute on their birthday.
Joe Bryant.
It's my birthday, yay!
It's funny that his name is Joe.
Joseph,
because he does play the Joseph. Yeah, he plays the Joseph role in this whole thing. And if y'all don't get that, then y'all don't listen to this show enough. But he definitely played the Joseph role in all of this. All right, so those are your birthday shout-outs. We're going to get into this thing of ours. But you guys can check out our website at warroomsports.com to call in and speak with us about some NBA topics. Dial a Digital Extreme Technologies hotline at 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted, but if you're already listening from your phone, just make sure you press 1 if you want to talk. All right. That NBA Wrap is brought to you by Audible. Is your schedule too hectic to read as much as you want? Try audiobooks. Kick back and let someone else do the reading for you. All you got to do is visit Audible and sign up for your free trial at audibletrial.com, and in no time, you can be listening to the latest bestsellers hands-free, stress-free, while getting other things done at the very same time. And, whatever you want to get done, you can get done while somebody reads you a nice story. All right, so opening week observations. What has stood out to you fellas so far in the first 2.5 days of the new NBA season? We've had some pretty good games, a couple of doubleheaders, and they've been worth watching. What have you seen, Jimmy, from this thing of ours?
Boston can't beat Cleveland.
I got some hot takes. I definitely got some hot takes, yo. And first thing is, I think the two best young players in the entire NBA are both foreigners. Because, that young man in Milwaukee, he's not already
Antetokounmpo.
Dog, if he ain't better than Big, he the closest one. That's all I'm gonna say, man. Like that young man.
Hey, Jim, he told y'all during the off season, about his bid for this MVP, and everybody dismissed him.
I believe him. I can't wait till he gets out of Milwaukee.
Take that.
Big market.
He got out of that fly around.
I can't wait till he gets out of Milwaukee. But watching that young man play, I don't even understand how you can stop him. Like, how can you stop this dude's talent, his athleticism, and how it's all coming together? Because it seems to be coming together just watching him play. And I know I'm drawn because it's the first couple games of the season. But this dude, if he's not the best player in the league right now, he's definitely next up, and it's not even a question to me. And
damn.
Real talk, like he's that good.
No, he's one of those people. Though, the question that you asked that hit the hardest was, how do you stop him? He's one of those guys where he doesn't really have a legitimate jump shot, but it doesn't mean anything. This is for you, Skyview, out there in the chat room, because we had this conversation about Ben Simmons a little earlier, and you might be able to put Ben Simmons in this same type of conversation, not have a jump shot, because it's one of those situations where, okay, if you back up off of them and try to make them shoot the jump shot, all of that does, and shout out to, was it Sam Mitchell, who had the same thought as me, and I'm sitting here watching him talking to the TV like, yo, we're saying the same thing. You back up off of guys like that with that kind of length, pizzazz, and athletic ability, all you're doing is giving them more of a runway to put the ball on the floor, and now you don't know which direction they're going to go in, and they're going to go to the hole all night, whether you play up on them, whether you play back.
And that's what he does. Like, he gets to the
jump
hole.
Shots for dudes that kind of talent, way overrated. I'm telling you.
Yo, shout out to LeBron. LeBron been around for 15 years with no jump shot.
Right.
And
that's but he's been the best player in the league, and I know that I'll be early to anoint people, but I think he's that. It's gonna be his league. Bron holding on to the best player in the world title right now, but this dude right here, man, and also man in New York,
Kevin Durant ever gets that torch, he only gonna hold it for like 4 weeks.
Kevin Durant is gonna be one of those guys that would have been the best in the league if he just didn't come around the time that he did. Like, he's one of them tweener dudes that
you want to talk about 7'4" small forwards, Kristaps? Yeah.
Chris Stapps might be like the. Chris Stapps is the other dude I'm talking about.
The league is about to turn into a bunch of freaks, man.
He has the green light now. He has the green light, and Chris Stapps might average like 30 and 10. But the thing is, I'm like, how come all the best players now are all the foreign boys? Like they're catching up to us from an athletic standpoint. It used to be all the foreign guys could shoot and had fundamentals, but we still jump around.
Skills. Right.
Let me.
Now they can jump out the gym. They can run.
Let me chime in.
Now they jumping out the gym. But real quick, Beyond, real quick. I'm going to get my last hot take. I'm going to get my last hot take, and you got it. My last hot take is this. Scoring is through the roof in the first couple games. I don't know if it's because the season's early and everything will slow down, but we getting back to like the 1960s where cats is going to start averaging like 40. Because even the Sixers game last night, wasn't it like 140 to 130 or something crazy like that?
Now, that one was 120 to 115, but there was another game last night that was 140. Who else?
Somebody hit the 140. But the scoring is like through the roof right now. The statistics and scoring is through the roof.
The Suns damn near lost by 50, and right on cue.
The Suns damn near got doubled up.
Chris Stapps just put a fadeaway on somebody's mug, right on cue.
Chris Stapps and Greek Freak gonna run a league in a couple years, yo.
Shout out to Casey Mack. He said it was where somebody they put up 140 points. So scoring is definitely up right now. Be also, what are your takes so far from the first couple of days?
Get well soon and rest in peace to Gordon Hayward's ankle. That was nasty. I don't.
The man was wearing his shoe the wrong way.
His foot was turned backwards. He could walk forward with his back,
He was running, but he was really backpedaling. Come on, Gordon.
Come on, man. Y'all have no compassion in your heart.
So that's a shame, B, because of the situation he just signed there. It was so much hope with he and Kyrie. I never thought they were going to beat Cleveland anyway.
Yeah, they ain't going to be. It didn't
Boston
matter.
Had hope. My question is, out of all of that, my man couldn't get a foul call, though?
No. Not against Brownsville. Not in Brownsville.
My man couldn't get a foul call after he was backpedaling while he was running forward. He couldn't get a foul call.
Yo, hold up, though. My whole problem with that is the next day when they put him on the big screen, like he just found out that he has a terminal illness. And he's talking to the fans. Like, that was a bit much for me.
It's dramatic. They had to do it. But really, Jim, he has to do something to endear himself to the fans because they never got to see their dude play. Yeah. He signed for all his money.
He's in Boston. All he got to do is be European. He's already endeared to him.
That injury looks so bad. Bars too. I like that. That injury looks so bad. like he might not be the same player. I know we in the age of micro medicine and he gonna go and get some platelets and stem cells and all that, but yo,
his
I don't see how you
said it was a successful surgery, and they said he's going to return to his all-star form. So that's what the doctor said.
No, he's not.
Be Austin. After seeing what happened to Paul George. Yo, after seeing what happened to Paul George, I believe in anything. Like, modern medicine is crazy. Cause, like,
Paul George,
back in the day, they would have amputated his leg.
He's still not the same.
Huh?
PG's still nice, but I still don't know if he's the same. He's had flashes of being the same, but that might not be. That might just be his.
Here's the crazy part.
His attitude. He's a deferential type of dude.
I don't think PG-13's explosiveness is the same, but I think because of that, he's actually become a better player. Believe it or not.
Right. No, and if you put the work in during times like that, then that's what you become. Look at y'all, man. That Jimmy likes to call young legend. Come on, man. All the time that he's missed, Joel Embiid, for those who don't know, all the time that he's missed in his career, dog, you can tell that he was out working on his jumper. He was out working.
He was working.
He's scary to me. Yo, he's scary to me because, like, I'm joking just about how great he is, but it's like, yo, he really is that great. Like, this dude looks like Hakeem Olajuwon and Patrick Ewing had a baby together, and he's the result. Pause. But like this dude is like I'm like, yo, I haven't seen a big man with this kind of skill set since Hakeem, because first of all, big guys in the NBA were like played out. They like 8-ball jackets, but like this dude has a skill set. This dude has a skill set that's unbelievable. And, I mean, to the point where he might, not only is he the best shooter, he might be the best ball handler.
Dude, when he gets the ball in the post and he faces up, it's like if he takes that J, it's good. If he takes it, it's good. Like, he rarely.
And what I like about him is he's not like these other cats. Like, when he gets a step by you, he's trying to punch it. He's not trying to lay it up or none of that. He's trying to dunk on you every time.
Yeah, he got that young boy exuberance. I like.
Well, the bad thing about his situation is that the Sixers are trying to impose a minutes restriction on him again. Last night they said he would play anywhere between 16 and 20, but I think that was a number that they kind of dredged out of Coach Brown just because the media wouldn't stop bothering him about it. I knew there was no way he was just going to play 16. I thought there was a chance they would stick to the 20, but I also had that feeling because the Sixers are no longer in tank mode. I had that feeling if the game was going to be close, there was no way that they couldn't put him back in that game last night because it's such a difference from when he's on the floor and when he's not.
Absolutely.
The only thing about this is if they keep trying to impose this minutes restriction, even if they go over the minutes restriction because they're in a close game and they put him in late, that's going to mess up the flow of the game because I'm telling you, if everybody looks at the Sixers over-under and the numbers when he's on the court and when he's not, they may be able to avoid some of these late game situations if he's able to play at a consistent rate throughout the whole game. Yo,
because they're gonna have teams. They're gonna have a lot of these teams in the East. A lot of these teams in the East gonna be tapping out. They're gonna be tapping out by halftime if he's able to play. Because the thing about the Sixers is, for one, this is the first time that I'm actually anxious to watch them play, probably since Bubba Chuck. Yeah, because the thing about it is, like, is outside of the fact that they have these young players, they're exciting to watch, and they're also long balls because that's a tall team, yo. With Ben Simmons, Falk, young legend, what they call him, Fed.
Right, because right now, Jared Bayless is only starting because Fultz isn't ready yet after his injury. He didn't get enough time in the preseason. But, yo, like you said, like the point guard is legit 6'10". Fultz is going to play he's going to be, I don't know what the hell he's going to play. But
three guards, man. They got a three guard.
They just putting 5 athletes out there.
Right. And then you got your man who Rocco, who wanted to shoot a bunch of threes last night and make them, which is bad for the Sixers, really. That means he's never going to stop shooting. And it's not going to play out like that every night.
He is not. No, he's not stopping, yo.
If he's the type, if he makes one early in a game, he's not going to stop. Now that he's made like 6 or 7,
he made one early in life, and he made one early in life.
He's going on the wing.
It's gonna be 7 weeks from now. It's gonna be 7 weeks from now. He's like, do y'all remember the first game of the season?
I'm hot.
When you get double teamed, kick it out to me or JJ. They're gonna say me first. Kick it out to me or JJ.
Yo,
and we'll knock that 3.
Shout out to JJ Redneck, who somehow made himself like an important piece on several teams after like starting off in the league as a piece of trash. Like, I just wonder if he's like making them. I wonder if he's making them young ladies out South Philly sign them contracts that he used to do in LA. But anyway, yeah. So like,
but no, shout out to
like
him and his work ethic, man. Shout out to
his work ethic is amazing.
But like you said, Dev, it's been very exciting over the first couple of days. Let's see how long it lasts. But the scoring is what's going to keep people there because these teams are like the numbers are ridiculous right now.
Yeah. And shout out to John Wall for coming back even more beastly than he was last season. What did y'all think about Kyrie's return besides his teammate destroying his ankle?
Fake.
If they keep the team the way it is, can they have success? Can they still get a top 2 to 4 seed in the East as constructed, or are they
4 or 5?
I don't know, right? Because here's my thing, right? First of all, salute to John Wall. He's the best running back in the NBA because he plays football out there. But watching them playing the athletes they got, I think they may be the second best team in the East. Like, which is crazy the way the Sixers competed with them, but I think they were going to give Boston problems anyway. Like, you know, because John Wall, Kyrie is almost a wash, but Washington has some players on this. Otto Porter seems to be getting better. He seems to be putting work in and getting better. So I think Boston was in trouble anyway.
Bill is nice. I don't know what he was doing at the foul line last night, but he's nice. And Kelly Oubre,
they got a nice little mob.
Yeah, shout out to DC Lingo. They do got a nice little mom.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting, right, with this whole Boston team because they do have some players. They still got a nice little team. That dude Brown on their squad, like he's an animal. So they got some pieces, man. It all depends upon how the young guys develop too, because the young boy from Duke, he seems to be like he looks like he could play in this league, but. Yo, it's all about Barry.
He has to get comfortable.
Barry is going to step up, and he wanted his own squad. Now you got exactly what you wanted.
Yeah, Tatum seems like he just has to get comfortable, and then he can start showing off his full array. In that first game, you know, he might have been a little shell-shocked in the first half of the game. You know, your first action, you're playing against LeBron James.
Playing against your hero.
Intimidating, but, yeah, I think he'll pretty much be all right. And like Jimmy said, the young dude, Jalen, he's surprising me. I didn't know he had all of that with him. So this is his opportunity to step up and possibly become, not even possibly, and become, entrench himself as the second fiddle on this team while Gordon Hayward is tending to his destroyed ankle.
The boy Jaylen Brown tries to dunk on you on every play. Like he tried to punch on LeBron, something crazy. Like,
he tried to
take LeBron, man. Like he tries to dunk on you every time he can. And he was a highly recruited guy. I remember in high school, like when Ben Simmons was number 1, he was number 2. So he has talent, but I didn't realize he'd be this good this fast and try to dunk on everybody any chance he gets. So
speaking of trying to dunk on you.
Good, but
Skyview in the chat room said Kyrie set him up for doom. He said Hayward was in no danger of catching that alley-oop. He definitely I don't know what they thought they were doing, but he was not going to bang on Bron and Bron's little trash friend Tristan. He was not going to dunk on them.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't. Jaylen Brown tries to dunk on people when he shoots 3-pointers, yo. I don't know how, but that's what he do out there.
Yeah,
like that's what he does.
Shout out to KC Mac 38 and the Game Time group. he said Kyrie is going to learn. He has to be the man for 4 quarters.
When
he
said
Jalen can't shoot.
Said that he would never get out of Cleveland. Man,
yeah, that's the same Casey. Yo, Casey Mack got something against Kyrie, yo. First of all, he said
we already know
out of there.
Kyrie.
Yeah, but he said he's never getting out of there. It's not going to happen. Casey Mack, it happened, yo. But we know you don't like Kyrie. But at the same time, like, Kyrie's a talent. He asked for what he asked for. He got it. So now it's his opportunity to show.
Mambo
it's
mentality.
A long season.
Well, he didn't ask for Gordon's. He didn't ask for Gordon's ankle to explode, but.
No, he definitely didn't.
Now he's going to have a little bit more of a burden than he thought he was going to have. But
he also got a built-in excuse.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The problem is everybody's going to want to judge him off of this one season because of the way he got out of Cleveland. There's not going to be any leeway for him. You know what I'm saying? If they don't do work this year, then see, Kyrie can't do this. Kyrie can't do this. And a lot of people are not going to be willing to even give him an excuse, Jeff. That's the difference.
I know. Kyrie better not go back into Cleveland trying to hang out at the club because Bone Thugs was looking for him.
Like Rich Bone, who looked like he ain't even got no hands. Told him,
Crazy Bone.
We put hands on you.
What are you gonna do, Kyrie, when it ain't nowhere to run to?
So real quick before we go, we got to talk about the Chicago Bulls, man.
The Chicago who?
The Chicago Bulls, man. I know on the court they're not much to talk about, but they've had something brewing, from what I hear, between Bobby Portis and Nikola Mirotic for a couple of years now. And I was reading up, and some people who have inside information basically blame this altercation. And if you haven't heard about the altercation, these guys were physical with each other in practice. Word is that at one point, Mirotic came at Bobby Portis aggressively. Bobby Portis punched him in his face, broke his jaw, and concussed him, basically knocked him out. Portis has been suspended for 8 games, and Mirotic is in the hospital for a long time. So they're about even. But I read on this, and people were saying that they blame the organization for this because, they have these young players like Bobby Portis and cats like that who've been putting in a lot of work because leadership would kind of give them these promises. But Mirotic comes in and, when everybody else is working hard, he gets to stay home and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of people on the team look at him as somebody that's being coddled. So not just Bobby Portis. The reason they have beef is because they play the same position. So they go at each other in practice every day for the past couple of seasons now. But it seems as if everybody on the team, has some sort of feelings towards the way that they handle Mirotic. And it came to a head. Literally, he got his head knocked off.
First off, his name is Bobby Portis. He sounds like a singer from like a 1960s R&B group that lays his hands on his woman when he gets upset. What the hell is a Bobby Portis?
He looked like one too. Now that he punched somebody, all the pictures of Bobby Portis on the internet are like
memes. The memes are amazing.
Not even just the memes.
Here's the thing,
just the media. If you see the stories, all the photos they use, he looking all menacing, like he a bad guy now.
But here's the thing, though, real quick. It's also a cultural thing, right? Because where we come from and where Bobby Portis probably comes from, his name Bobby Portis, so I'm just going to assume he comes from that. You can't approach nobody aggressively and expect not to get hands laid upon you.
Not in a basketball setting. Definitely not in a basketball setting.
Yeah, not that they always will get laid upon you, but if they do get laid upon you, not saying you ask for it, because I'm not victim blaming here. Hashtag. Let me shut up. But what I'm saying is,
no consumer.
You have to watch how you approach people in an aggressive manner, man. Like, and I don't know where Mirotic is from, but considering his name, I assume that he's not from the same place that Bobby Portis is from. So
yeah, he's
maybe
from where
over there
the airport smell like rotten hoagie.
Maybe you can approach someone. Maybe you can approach someone in an aggressive manner and y'all just argue. But no, dog. I mean, he came up like Alina cousin, and he got dealt with the same way.
You telling me for? Yeah. Alina cousin definitely got dealt with, but he came back blasting. So, you know.
And maybe Miritich will too. When he wake up.
When he wake up. I was about to say, when he wake up, get out to the hospital. Yeah, Bobby Porter's from Little Rock. So there you go right there.
Oh, come on, man. You already know what it is.
Man,
you already know what it is.
They get it down.
You already know what it is.
Banging in Little Rock.
He from Little Rock, and your man Miritich is from, I think he's Serbian. So, yeah, that's that. I mean, that's war torn. So, you know, he come from some stuff.
Yeah, but
he ran away from that.
Yeah, coming back. Put it like this: if Bobby Porter end up missing, that's something different.
Yeah, no doubt. But we got to get out of here, man. We'd like to thank all you brothers and sisters for joining us for another briefing in the War Room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room on Facebook, Twitter, War Room Sports, Game Time on the GroupMe app. All the callers who called in to holler at us, the ones that we couldn't get to, we apologize, and we'll talk to you next week. Special thanks to Gus Griffin for joining us to give his investment picks for the week, as well as Fred Perdue for his college football report. Tune in next week, live right here or on demand on the WRS Podcast Network, as we recap Week 7 and preview NFL Week 8. And, of course, we'll catch you up on everything happening in the association. So until then, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your week, and we'll see you right back here next time. Be sure to catch our conversations on Facebook, Twitter, as well as our blogs, webcasts, and network podcasts on warroomsports.com. Also, make sure you pick up Jimmy's book at sportsthebook.com or on the flagship, the hub, warroomsports.com. Until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance. And we'll see you chumps on Friday.
Triple B tonight, baby.
6 to 8. Yeah. War Room Sports. Y'all ready? Let's go. Stay in tune to Jimmy. Know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dez. PJ, B. Austin, Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop dollars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dez, DJ, Stop Back, Lee Austin. I'm Jock. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.